At the end of last episode, I made sure to note that I would be rewatching the episode, just because I wasn't sure if there were things that I missed or didn't understand. Because as we got to the end of last episode, some things just didn't really seem to be clicking for me in terms of what I had just watched, and I I rewatch episodes normally as is, but specifically for last episode, I just some things just felt kind of off. And after having rewatched last episode, I feel pretty confident saying that while I did miss a couple of things, I still have a pretty similar opinion now as I did before rewatching it. I feel like the character motivations and rationalizations that we're getting for some of these things just don't really seem to be making sense to me. And that's not necessarily indicative of bad writing, just because in real life, people sometimes do things that don't make sense to me, frustratingly. So, yeah, I still feel like there were there were some things that were not necessarily clunkily conveyed necessarily through narrative and dialogue, but some things that I guess you could say I'll be watching going forward to kind of determine if it's characters making poor decisions and being a little poor in their communication, or if maybe the writing needed a bit more polish. So, yeah, I think with that being said, let's go ahead and get into episode 4 of Oshinoko, starting in 3, 2, 1, go. And we are right in starting with the OP, not a big surprise. However, I don't know that I have anything to say during this OP. Ah, corner of my mouth is getting a little raw again. Anyways, personal information. You don't need to hear that. um, yeah, I don't know if I really have anything to say during this OP. Feel free to skip ahead a minute. I guess just for something to say, just because I don't know, I feel awkward when I'm just sitting here watching the OP, waiting for it to end for these videos. Um, I do still feel like Kana just has like different different slash more animation sometimes than the other characters tend to. And on rewatch, I don't know, I really like seeing I really like paying a bit more attention to her specific animations. All right. What is the chaos that you were going to cause, Aqua? He's going to do a rehearsal in his mind palace. Well, this just got unnecessarily dramatic. Yeah, being a child genius ain't all it cracked up to be, is it? Wow. That's the internet for you. Straw. I've seen worse comments. Oh, she's a fan. She's a fan of the source material. I I want to give some props to the actual VA because it legitimately on in like an actual production like this, it's it legitimately does take some skill to put up this bad of a performance. Yeah, he's forcing ambiance. Let him do his thing. There you go. Force some emotion out of this bad actor. Anogaki. Leave it. This dude knows what he's doing. He's like, no, no, let him go. Let him cook, as the kids say. You don't say. I never would have guessed. Let's see it. Yep. He's setting it all up for her. Show him what you can really do. Bad at acting my ass. God damn, this show is pretty, if nothing else. I said if nothing else because I kind of opened the video with a bit of a bit of critique for the show, but just to be clear, like this whole start of the episode was really well done, I think. I think we got to see some really cool stuff from Aqua here. Mess things up. He made it better. Shut your mouth. Nice knockoff energy drink on the desk there. You good, kid? Too busy going doki doki over Aqua's performance? My word, this series is pretty. Who are you? Who are you? I'll say that's not good for your back. Jesus. Yeah, cuz it... Yikes. The hardcore fans. Respect. But they stopped because it was bad. Oh, this is the mangaka. Okay. I see, I see. I definitely did not recognize her. How can you not? Yeah, I mean, if you're passionate about your work, then of course you would be excited and want to see it. Yeah, I... Ah! Huzzah! Stark contrast from what we saw last episode, which was her looking dead inside. I think Kana said something like it was physically painful to look at her reaction to it. Hey, all you need, well, not all you need, but sometimes what you need is for those dedicated fans to make a big to do about it. That small niche set of super fans. Oh, that's very casual, Kana. Very casual. By the way, do you have a girlfriend? Very casual. Jesus. uh, I would be relieved too. Guy is a scumbag. Triggered. You trying to find a knife in your chest, buddy? Is that so? You could say that. Arimasu. Favor for a favor. Oh, that galaxy eye. Love that. Love how that looks. No, please. Please don't make me watch a reality dating show. Anything but reality TV. Wait, what? Oh, this is how we ended the first episode. Was with this flash forward scene. Okay. That was unexpected. God, that I was gonna wait until I was gonna wait until the end of the episode to mention it, but the character design in terms of the outfits, the various outfits and different costumes and stuff like that, so good in this show. Good eye of you, I recognize that word. Feel like she's losing their attention, not gonna lie. Oh, are they actually listening? I honestly thought she was gonna turn around and they were gonna be walking away. Oh, okay, are they actually taking her seriously now? That's nice. Rather different than what we saw of them interacting last episode. Somebody's nervous. There's so many pretty people. Pink hair. Stare. Those stare lines. I like her voice. Stop staring at her chest. Something about the way she speaks, too. It's hard to pinpoint, but. Can you not? Okay, it isn't okay. It is a Kansai accent. I was actually wondering that. It's a vibe. Wait, she's faking it. She's a fake country girl. That's not true at all. Especially not in like middle and high school. Guys make friends at the drop of a hat. Are you kidding me? Don't share your friends. God, I'm gonna need you to unclench and remove the stick from your ass, Aqua. You literally just. I feel like I've heard that before. Oh. Oh, of course. Showing up fashionably. What are those eyes? What a weird name. Sorry, is that rude to say? Sounds like a stage name, actually. Potentially. Fangirling. Yep, number one fave. Yep. I am getting more and more impressed with the animation for this series. Which is saying something because I was already kind of struck by how good it was from the first episode. Especially once we got to the end of the first episode and saw some very memorable scenes. Did he really just do that? Oh. Oh, she keeps abreast of the news in her industries. Jeez. And you are? Oh, rip. Oh, devastated. Oh my word. You just started high school. Chill. Yeah. With a huge chest. Can you stop talking about her boobs? Oh yeah, poaching is good way to start things. He's gonna recommend Kana. And that's how we end the episode. Okay. Okay. I really like that episode. I think it was probably pretty obvious from my reactions. I really like that episode. There's no after credits thing, right? No. Okay. Um, yeah, I don't think I have necessarily too much to say about the episode, but I did really like it. It was, first of all, it was funny. It was a funny episode, especially in the kind of second half after we were finished with the filming for Mild Today. Um, but also, yeah, there was just a lot of good things. The animation continues to be really good, and it's not just that the animation is really good, it's that the animation is they're really good at doing a variety of things with the animation. Like I wish I was more familiar with like industry terms to better talk about it in like with depth to what I'm saying. But like yeah, I feel like if you just I feel like if you watch the way that characters are animated from scene to scene, like they have a lot of different ways of animating characters depending on like the mood they're trying to set for the scene. And like that's saying something because you can frame scenes differently. You can use like different color palettes and stuff to like try to help set the tone for a scene. But changing the actual way that the characters move and like the animation style that is utilized to better kind of emphasize what you're trying to do like with a given scene is really impressive. I think like a lot of series and studios like they will focus on having a consistent animation style throughout and still kind of fall short in some regards. But like this studio is like a relatively unknown studio. I'm pretty sure I looked it up after the first episode and it had like basically I'm pretty sure they had like no shows under their belt. Like yeah, they don't have a lot of shows under their belt. I mean, they have some, but there's not too many like super big name shows. And I don't know. I again, I'm not like super knowledgeable on like industry stuff, but this studio Doga Kobo is very much impressing me. Like this is a studio that was not even remotely on my radar previously, and now I'm like, I kind of want to see what y'all do going forward, just based off of what I've seen with this show. Um, so yeah, and so animation was really good, and then also I mentioned it during the episode. I was gonna wait until the end of the episode. I'm gonna re-mention it again here now. Um, but the absolute variety of like outfits that we're already seeing is also very impressive. That's something that I really like to see in an animated series is different outfits, different costumes, and like good costume design, good different like a good variety of character design, like with different and while incorporating like different kinds of outfits. Because like again, it's something that's like very common to see, I think, in not even just anime, just again, animated media in general, to see like the characters wear the same thing for 80-90% of the entire series. Like, what's it like? Even look at a show like She-Ra and the Princesses of Power. Like, the characters wear the same thing for the overwhelming majority of of the series run of the series full runtime, and like it's fine. It doesn't necessarily detract from the show to do that, but at the same time, I think it also very much adds to a series when they do have again this kind of variety of outfits. Like in particular, at the what was it, the reception or something for the show? I don't remember what it was, but the fancy dinner or whatever that Kana and Aqua attended, and Aqua seemingly got roped into joining a reality TV show to get some information about the outfit that Kana was wearing. I have it pulled back up now. Like it's just like Aqua's outfit's whatever. It's kind of boring to be honest, but it's a different outfit. But Kana like she is just I mean she's just a cute fucking character, right? She is cute as an like she's cute as a button, right? Kana is just absolutely adorable, and almost every like new outfit that we have seen her in thus far, I'm just like, ah! And I really liked her outfit at the dinner reception, and so yeah, I really like seeing it. Again, it's something that like it doesn't necessarily need to be there, but it's one of those things that for me it adds a lot. I really like seeing a variety of outfits in series like this. And then also going back to the first half of the episode, so I didn't talk something floating in the air in front of me. I didn't talk too much necessarily about what was happening, or I mentioned briefly a couple of times that like I liked what I was seeing, that I thought it was well done, but I didn't necessarily say like why. And so I think that there are two main reasons as to why I really liked what I saw in the first half of this episode. Reason number one, I feel like it tells us a lot about Aqua's character insofar as he keeps comparing himself to I, talking about how, I don't have the stage presence that she did. I don't have the acting prowess that she did. So like I have to use everything available to me. And I like the way that it is being that it is it's not necessarily subtle, but it's also not being like explicitly stated necessarily. That I like the way that they are giving us characterization for Aqua by showing us that he is this character who, because he's bad at acting, because he doesn't have, the kind of things that I had, because of these things, because he doesn't consider himself to be like up to the task of being, a good actor, he feels like it is almost a crutch that he needs to lean on and use everything available to him, right? But the fact of the matter is that he's only able to do that. But the fact of the matter is that this is not something that everybody can do, and he's only able to do that because of how clever he is, right? Which is something that even the directors, I don't remember the director's name, I know it starts with a G, but which is something that the director said to him, right? I think he said when at one point when in one of the previous episode where like Aqua was lamenting his prospect as an actor, I think the director said something like, "Look, you may not have this, you may not have this, but like you're smarter than I ever was." And then and he also said like, "And I don't remember exactly how he phrased it, but he said something that like he said something about like, and you know how all this stuff works. You know like how the behind the scenes stuff works. You know the production side of things." He said something to that end, right? And what we're seeing is that Aqua took his little detour into learning production stuff, and with the intent of like, oh, I'll accomplish my goals from behind the scenes. I don't need to be an actor, yada yada yada. But what we're seeing is that now what has happened is he has learned these things about production, and because he knows how these things work now, he is then able to because he's a clever individual, he is able to take all that he knows and apply it in real time in a real life practical situation to single-handedly change the entire dynamic of a set and a scene that they are shooting, to just elevate everything, to make everything better. And that's just, not only is that just really cool in terms of characterization, but it's also really cool in the sense that like I'm actually just making this kind of extra connection, extra leap now as I'm talking about it. It's kind of an extension of what made him a good actor as a child to the director when he featured him in that little short scene with Kana, which is he knows how to read what others want and expect from him, and then basically perfectly play to those expectations in a way that like goes above and beyond what they wanted him to do, more or less, right? Like the director, when he cast him in the child role, like he wanted him to be a creepy kid, basically. And so and realizing that was what was wanted from him, like as a kid, Aqua was like, okay, so I don't really need to do anything special. I just need to be me, because that's what the director wants from me, is he wants me to just be me, and that will be what he wants for this role. And we saw like a similar conversation happening between him and Kana in terms of his initial performance as the stalker role in Mile Today, but then he turned it up. He started being like, you know what, let's go ahead and let's put a little bit of effort into this. And he used all those different things that he was listing off and talking about in the episode to just like work towards his advantage, to kind of to in a sense kind of it almost command the spotlight. But he also did. But again, it wasn't just to make it about himself. It wasn't just to highlight how good he was. He did it to highlight the overall production and to allow Kana specifically to shine in her response to the way that he performed. So yeah, just really, really cool stuff. Really cool stuff. And then so that was all part of the first thing. The second thing that I think is really cool about that, and this is probably going to be a bit of a shorter spiel, is that, and I mentioned this. I'm pretty sure I mentioned this at least once before. The fact that Aqua is able to understand all of these things and all these different aspects of shooting a scene and production and stuff goes to show how well the creator had to, again, like, study and research and understand all of these things in order to write a character that was able to manipulate those things to their benefit, in their favor, right? So again, this is a much shorter spiel. Just again, I think I said it once before in, I don't know if it was last episode or the one before that, but just props to the creator of Oshinoko, because I do feel like I think I jokingly said, like, maybe they just have maybe they're just very creative, maybe they just have a very good imagination to, wonder about how all these things work. But I do think that they probably did a lot of research on how different avenues and aspects of the entertainment industry work in order to write this story. I think that they tried to establish for themselves a very solid understanding of the inner workings of a lot of parts of the entertainment industry so that they could do things like this with characters like Aqua. So that's just really cool as well. What else? I think that's probably about it. Yeah, so great animation. Like to see all the outfits. Really good first half of the episode with characterization for Aqua, as well as just a demonstration of, like, the depth of understanding and breadth of knowledge on display from the creator of the series, and some very funny stuff in the second half of the episode. And so yeah, just overall a very good episode. I think that I think I can pretty confidently say that this is probably my favorite episode of the show so far, which, 4 episodes in, not necessarily saying a lot, but I do feel like, kind of like I was saying, actually, no, I don't know. Scratch that. let me just make this point on its own merit. I was gonna try to premise it with something else, but I don't think that necessarily. I don't think that's necessary. So let me just make this point for the sake of making it as its own point. I feel almost like in this episode, it felt like the show had a better idea of what it was trying to do, if that makes sense. I feel it's not necessarily that the first 3 episodes felt like directionless or aimless, but I think I kind of mentioned it before, but like there are things about the first few episodes that just kind of felt a little weird. And so I think that in this episode, it might be the start of, like, the actual show, just in the sense of, not necessarily that, like, nothing has happened to this point. I'm obviously not saying that. But I just think that we might be seeing the show finally starting to kind of come into its own and feel, and like having, like, felt itself out, and just, yeah, I feel like I feel like we are going to, from this point, I would not be at all surprised if the show just kind of feels a lot more natural in the way that it executes on a lot of what it's trying to do. So yeah, that's good, obviously. That's good, because I think that I definitely think that there is, I know that, again, I know the show's very popular when it was very popular when it was initially airing, and I can see already how it gets to that point of being considered like an amazing show. I can see where that potential lies, especially through what we were presented in this episode. I think the only other thing I want to say, and this is just, we're gonna end this with a bit of a joke. When we were watching that first half of the episode, as I've already, I just talked about how I thought that there was a lot of good stuff in that first half of the episode, right? But I had to laugh at a point. As I go back and I'm like reviewing this reaction and I'm like doing my minor editing and stuff for the video, I'll probably notice the point that it happens. There's a point where I think I just kind of laugh because some of the stuff that's like going on internally with like the inner monologues of like Aqua and Kana, it just there was a point where I wanted to say I feel like I'm watching Death Note, and I feel like it is entirely unnecessary. But to that end, I will say that I'm curious to see if those sort of inner battles, in a manner of speaking, are going to continue to happen, or if that's going to be something that they maybe focus on a little less going forward. We'll see. But I think that's going to be it. Just overall, looking forward to seeing how we proceed from here, because I think that there is a lot of good stuff that has been, that through these first 4 episodes, I think we have set ourselves up for a very strong series going forward, is I guess the long and short of it. So yeah, remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Remember to check out other videos on the channel if you are so inclined to do so. And until I see you in the next one, take care. Bye-bye.